We will see few examples with increasing degree of complexity modeling the DC motor. We have the DC motor which can be excited, separately excited with constant field, can be separately excited with variable field, okay, when you do field weakening. You can also have a series configuration and have a DC series motor. The separately excited constant field machine that I will take up first is simplest, and that is probably what you would also be doing in your labs. Okay. It is automatically a model will be linear model, whereas the variable field and the series DC series motor, they are not as straightforward. We have to do some processing. Okay, we will see that also. Okay, we know the physical symbolic configuration. This is the DC motor. We have the brushes, and then you have the shaft, and we have an equivalent armature inductance LA, we call that, and you have the equivalent resistance seen in the armature RA. We will be applying a voltage VA. There is a DC voltage that you will be applying, which will result in a armature current IA like this, and once IA flows, it will generate the torque on the mechanical side through this gyrator to get you the omega. So, this is basically the system that we are talking about. There will be a field coil. So, that is why we call it as separately excited. It is excited separately by a separate source. You can put a battery here, fix it constant. Okay. So, then it is a constant field, but you can make this also varying. We will take that up later, varying field case. So, if you are having a constant field here, then the gyrator input output relationship will be a constant K, and you will get a simple model. You also will need to take into account the total reflected inertia onto the shaft. So, there will be load. So, whatever the load total reflected inertia that will be seen on the shaft is what all these electricals and electronics will be seeing, and then it has to control. Apart from inertia, there is one more aspect on the mechanical side which you have to consider: loss, of course. There will always be loss, any domain loss will be there, and here the loss is, this is a moving mechanism, so rotating mechanism, there will be bearings. So, there will be bearing friction. So, all these friction losses, I am going to call that one as B. Now, let us see how you will draw the bond graph first, then assign the causality, and then get the state equations for this particular system. Okay, this is actually, you will see a very simple system. Now, start from the electrical side. Okay. So, you have the source, you have RA, you have LA, and you have the gyrator. For the moment, consider that I am applying a constant voltage for VF. The field is constant voltage. So, there will be a constant IF, fixed IF flowing, which is generating a fixed flux inside the machine, and there is no variations there. So, there are no dynamics involved in that sense there. So, this you can for now forget about it. So, let us say that we have the source here SA, and it is a one junction because all these three components are sharing the same flow, same current IA, and RA is one of the components connected to that one junction, LA is another component connected to that junction, and another thing is this port, gyrator port. So, this is a gyrator port which transforms the energy into the other domain, here in this case mechanical, rotational mechanical domain, through this K, through this relationship, And on the mechanical domain, you see that at this shaft speed omega, okay, you have to handle this, you have to handle the load, you will have to handle this inertia, you will have to handle the friction. All are happening on the with the common character of same omega. Okay. So, omega being flow in the mechanical domain, I will again put this. Okay. You just have to look at what is the commonality, whether it is effort or flow. So, then your junction is decided. So, part of the energy goes for loss, another part to sustain the inertial load, and there is another part which actually goes to further loads. There can be air trains and something else connected, maybe a pump and so many other things can be connected. So, this is the further load which will have a back effect. So, back effect of that load will be coming as a load torque for this system here. So, this is the bond graph that we have. Next what? Next we have to assign the causality, very important. So, let us follow the same sequence. First is look at the sources and assign the causality for the sources. Now, you have this source here, okay, and source causality is like that. Okay. Next, we look at the storage elements, dynamic elements. So, you have one dynamic element here LA on the electrical side and another dynamic element, the inertial element here J. So, this we want to have a causality such that this is integral. The causality should be having an integral constitutive relationship. So, if I put the bar at the arrow end, then the relationship will be I, the inductor current is equal to 1 by LA integral of effort across that port dt. So, I want the effect as current. Okay. So, this is causality for that. Likewise, on the mechanical domain, being again an inertial kinetic storage element, I would like to have a causality such that it is integral omega, in this case the speed, okay, will be the effect of this component. So, this will be the omega decider, this will be the I decider or the IA, armature current decider, okay, remember that one for this junction. So, the moment I have this causality defined for the dynamic element here, now go to the junction, look at that and see if I can flow through applying the junction rule. So, if there is one flow decider, I cannot have any other flow deciders. So, I have to preempt everything and say that they both have to have effects flowing into the junction. Okay. RA can take either causality, no problem, we will do that. Now, this is decided for the GY. Now, in the case of the GY, either you can do that or look at all the junction rules, finish that, and then if some things are left out, then you can come to the 2 port and see the GY. If it is one like this, I cannot have it like this because it will become a transformer. So, it has to be the other way around. That also is a way to do that, but better to go through the junction first, so that junction is taken care and then the others. So, the moment I have this inertial element J having integral causal, having a flow effect, then this is the flow decider for this junction. So, this will have to be this way, right. There can be only one causal bar away from the junction in the case of the one junction. Now, by this automatically everything gets fit, there is no conflicts, and therefore, we just leave it at that. You do not need to go down the sequence because everything is taken care of. Next, we assign the variables. Okay. So, let us assign the variables. We will remove the, we will make some space. We need to write the equation. VA. So, I am now trying to gradually shift to the notation lowercase like this, lowercase subscript. This will be just write it down. So, whenever we write from now onwards, I just write x. So, x will have two parts. It will have steady state or the fixed operating point, nominal operating point portion, and it will have deviations about the nominal operating point in the neighborhood of the nominal operating point. So, therefore, this is equal to x uppercase plus x hat. Okay. So, this is the varying quantity, this is the fixed quantity and steady state quantity, and the what we can call as the complete large signal variable. So, this is a large signal variable, steady state variable, small signal variable. Okay. So, all will be in that fashion. So, when I put this kind of a symbol, it means this is the large signal variable. It is composed of two parts. One is the steady state variable part and the small signal part. IA is the state variable because this is the dynamic element and the effect of this particular bond. This is the flow decider for this junction. Then you have omega is another state variable. Okay. K omega. Now, all these bonds here will have the same flow omega. So, this bond is also going to have omega here. Okay. Do not write it, just keep it in your mind, because if you write it, okay, the first time I showed writing in detail, but it will clutter up the paper and it will make it a bit more cluttered and confusing. Just write minimal number of variables, just even this you should not write later on as you go along, but okay, for now that for explanation we need it. So, here this bond has a flow and that flow is omega because of this one junction. Okay. Now, this omega reflects onto this side as k omega. K is the parameter, operative parameter which relates the primary side and the secondary side of the gyrator. So, k omega is actually the back EMF, EB that we would call, but we do not need to use another variable EB and then say EB is equal to k omega later on. Just directly use whatever the minimal number of variables, right. Then this side IA, because what is the flow on this side, isn't it? The flow on this side is IA because this is a one junction. This is a flow decider. All these bonds here share the same flow. So, this has to be also having IA. So, IA into K, KIA. So, this would be the torque. This is the flow. On this side, it will become the effort because gyrator cross linking. Effort links to flow, flow links to effort. So, this would be TD, the developed torque of the machine. Okay. So, this KIA is the developed torque, it has to supply to this and load TL. So, now as the load is right now unknown, you can consider it as a disturbance. I do not know when a load will be put, when the load will not be put, what type of load, what are the dynamics, all those things are not known. So, it is in general most of the time the loads are considered as disturbances. Okay. So, there is a TL. But whatever the load you apply, it will get reflected and automatically that much power will be drawn. Okay. So, let us say the reflected load is TL. Now, this is the variables that are there with you. Let us try to make the equations. First, you take this junction. You can take it, start with any junction, does not matter, any dynamic element, all are equally fine, whichever place you start. Let us say we start from this junction. Now, this is the flow decider. So, this is the hero of this junction, and you will have to, with respect to that, you will have to. So, I need to know what is the effort here. Now, the effort here is actually contributed by all the other, because this fellow is contributing the flow as the effect to the junction. This fellow's effort will be contributed by all other bonds in the junction, obeying the effort law. Sigma effort is equal to 0. Okay? Very simple. Then just look at the signs. Let's look at the signs based on the arrow directions. That is all that you need to follow. You see that this arrow going into the junction, these are arrows going out of the junction. So, going into the junction you take positive, out of the junction you take negative. So, this effort here is nothing but VA minus KW, K omega minus IA RA. So, VA minus IA RA minus K omega is equal to the effort of this flow decider, which is LA DIA by dt. We know that it is LA DIA by dt. This is the basis for your first state equation for 1. Now, look at the other fellow, other junction. Now, here the decider is this, the decider bond is here, important bond is here, and we need to know the effort here. So, you do not have to worry about the domain, just talk in terms of efforts and flow, you will get your equations, whether it be mechanical or electrical. So, there is one bond here which is going into the junction, this bond is going out of the junction, this bond is going out of the junction, all these efforts are going to determine the effort of this. Okay. So, this is KIA minus TL minus B omega. You have to use the same principle, the omega is a dissipator, so B omega. So, you just put that down, KIA minus B omega minus TL is going to be the effort of this bond, which is the flow decider bond, J d omega by dt. Just like L di by dt, J d omega by dt, inertial value d flow by dt in general any domain. Okay. So, you have these two equations, and from this these two equations easily you can put it into the form of state equation. So, this is IA omega, IA and omega are the two state variables, IA dot omega dot is d by dt. Look back, see this is RA by LA. LA we have got it to the right side. So, you can just recognize this is RA minus RA by LA, and for omega coefficient minus K by LA. Okay. So, that is what I have put, RA by LA, K by LA, and K by J and minus B by J. You can work that out. And then here I have put two inputs. These are the form x dot is equal to Ax plus B, this is B and this is U. One input is VA, which is this fellow. The other input is a disturbance input. Okay. TL is a disturbance input, which is this. You see in a system how it fits into the state equation. So, VA by LA is what is going to affect your first equation, and TL is coming in the second equation as a disturbance input. So, this is your state equation, linear, you can use it without any problem for all your separately excited systems. You need to know these parameters, you need to know RA, LA, K, B, J, all these parameters. How do you find that out? Okay. Of course, that is the first part of any experimentation. When you are doing the controller design, you have to first find out the A matrix. A matrix, after you find out the values by experimentation, then you can go ahead and say the model is complete, and you can start designing the controller, various controllers. Okay, this is one part. I have made something here, right. It looks exactly same system, all parts, only this is variable, meaning I am giving a varying source. You see the source here can be a separate fixed DC, or I can connect it to here. I can connect these two terminals to VA terminal itself, and I can vary RF here. Let us say this is RF, I can vary RF and still get varying IF, varying field. So, in that case what happens to our equations? Just have a look at that. The bond graph is very similar, the only change is here, all right. F which is K, which is a function of IF, because this is varying, this is no longer constant, there is dynamics of that involved, there is a dynamical element, LF and IF are coming here. So, if I say LF and IF in this circuit. Now, take the case that this terminal is connected to this terminal, okay. This VF is connected to VA, easy, because I have already one source here and I have a degree of freedom here to adjust RF to get my this one, instead of having one more source here, okay. So, let us do the simplify it slightly without loss of generality. I connect this terminal here and I connect this terminal here, clear. And now look at the model. All these portions will remain same. I am instead of using the symbol GY, I am using the symbol MGY, modulated gyrator. Same, all the definitions of the modulated gyrator are same. I am just using MGY there. Also literature uses it whenever K is not constant, it is a varying quantity to indicate that it is a modulated gyrator, okay. So, MGY is same as GY. So, if you are having E1, F1, E2, F2 and a varying one, let us say instead of K I will call it as G. G is a varying function, okay. So, your relationships will still remain the same. E1 is equal to GF2, E2 is equal to GF1, and depending upon which is cause and effect, you can appropriately position them. And the causality also will remain exactly same like the normal gyrator, except that I have put this to indicate that this is not a constant. But so, when you see MGY, immediately it should strike to you that parameter K, which we had used as a relation parameter for primary side port and the secondary side port, is not a constant, okay. Otherwise, on to the mechanical domain, all these remain the same. The electrical domain, all these remain the same. Now, I will introduce a 0 here, and before the 0 I will put the source VA, okay. And at this 0 junction I am picking off something, okay, and I am going to put a 1 junction there, LF, RF, okay. Is this clear? This is because I said that this is RA, this is LA. Now, I have RF and LF. So, VA is common for both. And therefore, now if you see this portion and this portion are sharing the same effort, right. So, that is why I have the source, it goes into the zeros junction, there is something here which is sharing some same effort as something here, and this is your normal LA, RA going to your MGY and further J, B and the load. Now, this is, these two are sharing the same flow, and therefore, RF LF. Okay. Understand that here, now this is one unit, this is one set of bond graph, but how do I get this? So, when I put a double arrow, remember double arrow does not carry power, it is a signal bond, it is a non-power bond. All power bonds are half arrow, all energy carrying bonds. It means that ideally there is no energy here, okay, it is buffered. Okay, here see, okay, this causality is here. Now, here what is the causality that I will be, this is going to have like that, okay. This will be the flow decider for this. So, what is the state? Variable IF. So, this junction flow will get scaled, let us say I will scale it by G and give. So, what it will be? G into IF, G into IF. So, GIF is a varying quantity, okay. So, which will be modulating, which will be the modulating factor. Is that clear? So, this is what we will be applying. You have the variable VA as usual, TL as the load, and it is for our system at disturbance input, okay. IA is a state variable, omega is a state variable, IF is another state variable, this three state variable, this is a third order system, GIF comes in there. So, now what is this effort and this effort? Still the same rules apply. This bond is having omega. So, what will it be here? GIF omega, okay. This bond will be having a flow IA, and here it will be GIF IA, okay, the effort of this on the mechanical side, the developed torque. So, GIF omega is the back EMF, GIF IA is the developed torque, then all else will be same equation. Now, if I take the equation for this, it will be, so this is a zero bond. So, all these bonds will share the same effort, right. All these bonds will share the same effort. So, this is VA, this is VA. So, VA minus GIFW, IF omega, IARA minus. So, this. Now, for this junction, I have to look at this flow decider. Developed torque is GIF IA into the junction, therefore positive, TL out of the junction minus TL out of the junction B omega dissipation minus B omega is JD omega by dt. Then here, so here LF is the flow decider. I need to decide this effort which is contributed by these two. So, this is VA minus IFRF. So, you have your 3 state equations. I can't put it into the matrix form, right? Can I put it in the matrix form? Can I put it in the form, generic form of any state variable x dot is equal to AX plus BU? Can I put it into that form? We have state multiplication here, right? You have IFIA and you have IF omega here. So, I have to just leave it at that. So, this is the large signal model, but then it is not linear. You cannot apply any of your control theory because almost all your theory is based on linear systems. So, how do you have to linearize? So, we had talked of linearizing before, right? I will show you how to do that also once I take up one more example. So, let me finish this example also and then show you how to deal with, how to handle the nonlinear equations that you will come up with most of the cases. It so happens that for the separately excited constant field machine, it turns out to be linear. Okay, you guys are lucky because you have to do it in the lab. But majority of the cases you will land up with, the state multiplication. Even the simplest of your converters, buck converter, boost converter, all will have nonlinearities coming in, and you have to do some extra processing to bring it. That is linearization processing to bring it into a form which is amenable for application of our control theory, okay, and then use it. So, here what is the change that I have done? So, the field, I have placed the field in series. So, whatever IA will flow through the field winding also and the armature. So, armature current and the field current are same. Very popular in high torque machines. Many of the electric trains before used to have this series motor because the torque was very, very high at low speeds, even close to 0 speeds. Anyway, but it is a good motor to understand and study and model and control. All these variables are understandable for you. The armature voltage, armature current, this is the field voltage, but what you have to be bothered is the field current, which is same as IA, in this case omega getting, you have B and J and load. Now, let us see how we will model. Now, if you take, I am putting a one junction here because then I was central to all this. If you see, everything is having a common flow. This is having common flow, this is having common flow, this is having common flow, everything here in the electrical side. So, I put this one junction and you have the source coming for this VA, you have LA, there are two, there is LF also is there, LA is also there connected to the same junction, okay. Then there is RA and RF also connected to the same junction, right, having the same flow. Then there is one more thing which is the gyrator, right, this block, the back EMF block. Now, this gyrator flows through into the mechanical domain and it has again a variable relationship, okay. It is actually a modulated gyrator, okay. F is equal to IA. You can use MGF, MGY and GY interchangeably, no problem, as long as you understand that there is a varying value for the relationship or a fixed value for the relationship. Now this side also one junction, this is very similar to your other DC motor mechanical part aspect. You have the inertial component J, you have the B, and you have to the load. I am just drawing it differently to show you that it is independent of the angles at which you place the bonds. So it really does not matter. So just to give you a different flavor, you can put it in any way as long as they are connected to the junction. So after this you give the assign the causality. Okay. This is assigned source. Next you have the dynamic components here J, LA, LF. So let us say I take LA to be the flow decider and I will place that. The moment I place this, for the junction everything else becomes decided, right. And for this also I will place here on the mechanical side. Then at the junction if I flow through, all these are decided. There can be only one bond at the one junction without a causal bar at the junction. Okay, so this is the flow decider. Likewise here also everything else becomes decided. But what is the problem here?
If we combine LA and LF,
exactly.
it will be.
So I can't do it like this, right? This is a d by dt. This is having an effect E, effort, whereas this is an effect which is the flow. Okay, we need a flow effect. This is an integral causal. This is a differential causal. Differential causal is not favored in nature. So as they are in series sharing the same flow, you can combine them. So don't put them like this. It is not, though on paper, on theory it is fine, no problem. It is allowed. You will get marks. but in a physical system it is not allowed. I mean it does not happen. So it is actually combined. LA plus LF will come into the picture. And here you could put RA plus RF, but it really does not matter. Here there is no conflict either physically or on paper, but for simplicity we normally write RA plus RF here. So what we do is we try to combine these two, rewrite the bond, this portion of the bonds. So this I will put it as a single bond as LAF, which is LA plus LF. So just like that, duality, dual is also when I put two capacitors in parallel, you will see that one fellow is only one fellow can decide the voltage at the node, right. So the other one will take the differential. So you have to actually combine them. I cannot have two voltage sources deciding the voltage at the node. So you combine them and say it is a single C. Likewise, two current sources in series is a no-no, and therefore you combine them and say it is a single source. And here you need not do this, but for simplicity it looks nicer to have just a single bond rather than a double bond, but it will work even if I have separately, does not matter. Now this is the modified bond graph, and for this let us put in the equations variable VA. Okay. This is the other input, which is the disturbance input. IA is the state variable on the electrical side, state variable for this flow decider omega, okay. And then we need to put values for this too. So if this is omega, all these bonds are having same flow. This is omega, omega into GIA will come here, okay. GIA because this is a function of IA, same current is flowing through the field, okay. Then this will be GIA omega, the back EMF. If this is omega, back EMF will be GIA omega. Now all these bonds, one junction, therefore they all share the same current IA, IA, IA. So this bond is also having IA. So if this is IA, what is the generated torque effort will be GIA, IA, GIA square, okay. So, this is these are the variables. Now, up to you now to write the equations. Very simple. So, you will be writing the equation for the effort of the flow decider here. Okay, the flow decider effort decided by this and this, VA minus IA RAF minus GIA omega, right. That you will be able to do. So, this also similarly I will try to find the effort for this flow decider J, okay. J d omega by dt equals GIA square positive minus TL negative minus B omega negative, okay. So, here too you will see these two problems, not problems, most of the things are like that. It is, you have state multiplication, nonlinear, and therefore you cannot put them in the normal matrix form. So, how do I go about solving this problem? Majority will be like this, okay. I cannot even get a transfer function out of it, right. So, let us see how we will go about linearizing this. So, this is where I said, now I will take this first equation, okay. I said that earlier we need to work on the nominal operating point being fixed and the small signal, that is the deviations about the nominal operating point, is what you will be designing the controller for. You recall that, right. So, let us say I have for VA two parts, VA plus VA hat, okay. This is the deviations about the nominal operating point, and this would be IA plus IA hat, and that would be, I will use the omega and omega hat. So, this is what they are composed of, right. And if you look at our control systems, this is your machine, series whatever. Now, I will be having these two things coming out of the sensor, IA omega, and let us say I want to do speed control, omega reference I will set. We will set this omega reference. There has to be something here which will give you nominal operating point values, okay. So, you will feedback this omega and IA. What do you have here? You will have IA hat, omega hat, and we want to make this deviation about the nominal operating point go to 0. Now, this is where our controller will come in. This is our controller K, and this is what we want to ultimately design. And output of the controller okay. Now, I am not going to talk about duty cycle and all those things. Let us say you have VA hat, VA in terms of this will be VA, and that will be the control input that you will be giving. TL is a load disturbance, okay. That is a disturbance input, you have no control on that. Using VA only you will be trying to control. Now, this VA is coming from as a feed forward term, right, steady state operating point. In fact, this is same as your steady state operating point, the reference point you want. So, this is what you will be trying to do, the control structure. This is the control structure, right, and we would like to design this for now. This is the controller. Now, look at this controller, these variables. What are these variables? VA hat, omega hat, IA hat. So, as far as this control is concerned, it is only talking in terms of the deviation signals, right. We will try to bring it such that can I make the deviation signals alone, can I use only the deviation signals, in which case then if I am able to make the deviation signals at least linear. So, I keep on making the signals narrow and narrow, so that about in the neighborhood of the operating point it is linear, then at least we will be able to use the same control theory that we have evolved all along for solving this problem. So, that is the intention. Likewise, for the other state equation also, here I will be replacing IA plus IA hat, omega as omega plus omega hat, these two. Okay. So, let us see. Now, this is a generic equation, that is the equation for the DC series motor. Just want to make this point clear, so that you will be able to take it up in any other system also. See, we know that x dot is equal to AX plus BU. Okay, this is our standard state equation format. These are matrices, vectors, state vectors, and the input vector. Okay, I will take a first order single state equation. It will be x dot is equal to AX plus BU, right. Now, this is each of these variables I am saying that I am going to split, right, or I should say so you split it like this, right. I am decomposing each of the variables into the nominal operating point value and the deviations about the nominal operating point value. Now, here you have that, right. I will put it like this. So, you have A x plus B u A x hat plus B u hat. Okay. So, this is the steady state portion. So, the steady state portion is linked to that is, so 0, this is 0, and this will be the small signal model. So, we try to obtain this small signal model by removing the steady state model. Okay. So, that is what we are trying to do. So, that is what I will quickly apply and show. So, I am substituting, see, VA plus VA hat for this IA plus IA hat, and for this IA is IA plus IA hat, and omega plus omega hat. Okay. So, I am just retaining this DIA by dt. In the end, we will make a DIA hat because DIA by dt is 0. Okay. Okay. Now, here if you just rearrange, you see this all these uppercase steady state nominal points, you try to bring it together. So, you have VA minus IA RAF minus GIA omega. So, GIA and omega, all these are nominal operating point terms. So, I group them together. This is the steady state part, right, nominal operating. Then all the small signal parts you bring it out. So, you have VA hat and you have IA hat RF, then you have GIA hat omega hat, then you have GIA hat omega and GIA omega hat. These are the small signal terms, right. Now, this is equal to 0 because steady state, okay, we can remove that. And likewise for J d omega by dt also, you replace all the variables with their decomposed parts, steady nominal operating point plus the deviations about the nominal operating point, and then you will get by grouping a steady state term and small signal terms. Okay. Now, here, so this I can remove. Now, here you see there is something here. What is this? This is a second order small signal. Okay, a small signal itself is a very small quantity. Second order small signal is still smaller, so we can remove that. Okay. It's an approximation that I have one here, second order small signal. That is another. This is the approximation that you take only up to the first order, as we saw in the Taylor-Maclaurin's the Taylor series expansion. So, now for my small signal part of the model, I am left with this here and I am left with this here. Now, these are all linear, no state multiplication. If I say IA hat is the state, omega hat is the state, then I have a linear equation coming in. So, this if I remove this, these and these items and rewrite, I get the small signal equation. Now, I am replacing this by IA hat because dIA by dt, d uppercase IA by dt is 0, d uppercase omega by dt is 0. So, LA of dIA hat by dt is this, and then IA hat has this coefficient and omega hat. J d omega hat by dt is again in terms of this. So, this I can put it into the state equation form with new state variables, which are the deviation state variables for the controller design only. IA hat, omega hat, IA hat as the vector, VA hat as the new input variable, and all these are the parameters. Now, you see this is a constant matrix for a given operating point. For that specific operating point, IA is fixed, omega is fixed, B, J are fixed. So, this matrix I can now operate with all my control theory and obtain the controller, and I can obtain the controller for that small signal controller, which has input also in terms of deviation quantities, output also deviation quantities. It is transparent to it. So, for designing that K, I will now use this, but remember that always the plant is large signal. Only for designing K I am using this, agreed? Otherwise all else is large signal. Even the values that you are feeding back and all are large signal values. When it gets subtracted from the reference command values, it becomes small signal. The controller will see small signal. So, that is the processing that we do for most of the system. So, if you keep that structure, whether it is linear, non-linear, it will get easily, it will accommodate all these aspects easily. That is why we said that is the framework that we would like to have feed forward term, feedback terms, and then the, is that clear? So this is how you will do your modeling even if you have a nonlinear system and bring it to the state space form. From here getting transfer function is straightforward job. Okay, we'll stop here for today.